Israel's expelled the residents of 3 refugee camps in the occupied West Bank as it steps up its military presence there. The Defence Minister Israel Katz said Palestinian camps in Jenin, Tulkarm and Nur Shams were now empty and would be occupied by the military for a year. He said nests of terror had been cleared. More than 50 Palestinians have been killed in the occupied West Bank since the Gaza ceasefire was signed last month.
This is definitely an intensification, but already Israel had been mounting a big new campaign in the north of the occupied West Bank, literally just a day or two after the ceasefire in Gaza came into effect. I mean, what's been going on in the West Bank has been shadowed, obscured by events in Gaza for the past year, but it certainly has been a place where there's large unrest, where there are Palestinian militant groups that have emerged in some of those refugee camps, and Israeli troops have been mounting almost daily raids for a year, almost 2 years in those areas. But now we're seeing an intensification that hasn't really been seen like this for 20 years or so. Tanks are going in to Jenin, around the refugee camp, for the first time in 2 decades.
A town in the Philippines has offered a bounty for mosquitoes, a cash reward for the insects, dead or alive. The new scheme follows a spike in the tropical disease dengue fever, which is spread by mosquitoes and can be deadly. So, how much cash are they offering? Well, if you're in Barangay Addition Hills in central Manila, for every 5 mosquitoes or larvae that you hand in, you can claim 1 peso. That's about 1p or 2 US cents. The program, which will run for at least a month, was started after 2 students in the center of the capital died from the disease. As of the 19th of February, 21 people have claimed their reward for 700 mosquitoes. News of the bounty has been bashed on social media. Village chief Calito Sinal says it will supplement existing measures like street cleaning and stopping the build-up of canal water where mosquitoes lay their eggs. Philippines Department of Health, which recorded 28,000 cases of dengue at the start of February, didn't confirm if it thought the plan would be effective, but told the BBC it appreciates the good intentions of local government executives to fight dengue.
For young people and students, everything is very expensive. You don't get a lot of money in your job. There's also no space in big cities.
Immigration
is also a big problem. I think it has to be controlled better.
Everything is too expensive here in Germany.
Cost of living and rents.
I have a lot of queer friends, and with the far right currently gaining a lot of strength, I'm quite worried about them.
I'm an immigrant, I'm from Georgia, and to kind of hear about the fact that they want to throw people out that have a history of migration, it's just really hard to hear.
And the economic, many companies are leaving the country here in Germany.
Climate politic, because I think it's the main problem that leads to migration.
Is it still safe to get on a plane? Well, what if I told you it was actually far safer to fly than it is to drive? You'll probably be aware there have been a few high-profile plane crashes recently, including this collision in Washington, D.C. and this crash landing in Toronto. One recent survey suggests that people in the US are becoming less confident about flying because of images like these. But is it becoming more dangerous to fly? Well, short answer, no. BBC Verifies analysed the data and found no evidence of an upward trend in air accidents over the past 20 years. Here, an accident can mean a major crash that results in death, or more minor incidents, like when an aircraft is damaged and needs repairs. Either way, the number of accidents hasn't risen. In fact, it's gone down. This downward global trend is also the case in America over the past 2 decades. Air crash deaths have been falling, although when there's a major disaster, you'll see a spike in the data for the number of fatalities. By far the most transport-related deaths in America happen on the road, not in the air. So statistically speaking, the most dangerous part about taking a flight is the drive to the airport.
A 13-year-old working as a maid was allegedly killed here in Pakistan for stealing some chocolate. A couple has now been arrested for allegedly killing Iqra. And the hashtag Justice for Iqra has gotten tens of thousands of views because of the outrage. We spoke to her father, Sanaullah. He said Iqra had been working as a maid, bouncing between different employers since she was 8 years old. He told us the family was in debt and they needed the extra income. When he finally got to the hospital, she died only minutes later. We've obtained pictures and videos of her injuries, but they're just too graphic to show, and police have told us there's evidence of frequent abuse. Now, it's illegal in the province of Punjab for a child under 15 to be employed as a domestic worker. This isn't the first time, though, there's been a high-profile case like this in Pakistan, and it's reignited a debate about child labour laws.
The economy and immigration, 2 of the big issues that people in towns and cities across Germany, like where I am in Munster, are talking about ahead of this weekend's election. The first comes as the economy has stalled, and people say
their money just doesn't go as far as it used to. That second issue, immigration, has been intensified after a series of fatal attacks where the suspect has been an asylum seeker. People say they're worried about public security and safety. So what to look out for? How well does Alternative für Deutschland do, led by Alice Weidel? The far-right party's been consistently polling second. It's set for its best ever result. But it almost certainly won't get into power because other parties won't go into coalition with it. Polling top is the Conservative CDU party, led by this guy, Friedrich Merz, but he won't be able to govern alone. The most likely scenario, once the results are in, is the CDU looks around to see who it might be able to go into government with. Probable contenders are the Greens, the Social Democrats, but the CDU would prefer to form a coalition with just one other party, because a coalition of three can be messy. The last so-called traffic light coalition collapsed, and that's why we're here, having this snap election.